started trying to pick something up off the ground, and the whole time I'm photographing it, and I'm like, "What is that?" And
Oh my gosh, that would freak me out.
they're like, "How long did it take you to catch that photo?" And I'm like, 3 years.
You're test driving episode number 2 of the podcast Coasting, and we're so grateful you're taking the time to try us out and tell your friends who love the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina coasting vibe. We're continuing from the same topic we had in episode number 1, animals you do not want in your house, but with a bit of a twist. Could there actually be beauty in the South Carolina wild? We'll be welcoming our first guest to the Coasting podcast, wildlife photographer Travis Huffstetler. I'm your podcast host and local realtor, Celia Klein, and I'm beyond excited to be in the driver's seat of the Coasting convertible. So put the top down and get the sunglasses on. It's time. We're coasting. And B, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Celia. It is so much fun to be here.
I'm glad we have fun having you here. I like having you in that passenger seat. Hey, I do believe you celebrated a birthday recently. Details. How did you celebrate?
And it was a big one.
Okay.
But
I'm not asking.
we went back to New Jersey and we visited family. But I also got to see my crush
Oh my gosh, I
in
can't wait to hear.
concert,
In concert. Okay, bring it on.
Tony Danza.
Tony Danza is your crush?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
He does a song and dance kind of routine.
Okay. Tony Danza, I didn't even know. He sings and dances. I
sings
just
and
thought he was
dances.
a TV sitcom
He
guy.
plays the ukulele.
Whoa.
He tells
Pure
stories.
talent.
He's pretty amazing, and he's not hard on the eyes.
Do you want to know who my crush is?
Who?
Sting. Oh my gosh, I love Sting. But he's not going to be anywhere in New Jersey anytime soon.
No.
Or here for that matter.
No.
So what does Tony Danza sing? Like what kind of music does he sing?
He does classics like favorites, a little Frank Sinatra and things of that nature, which is what I think he grew up with. He tells about his mom and how she got him interested in music and Frank Sinatra.
So were you like front row seats or you just
we had good seats. I weren't front row, but
you had a great time. How long is a Tony Danza show? Uh-oh.
it was a little over an hour. The audience was a little on the older side, and he kept saying, "Do I have any time left? Is the bus ready?" Because
Is the bus ready?
I think a lot of the women came in on the bus.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
For the show.
Okay. So the audience was definitely tipped the scales more women than men. Is that what you're telling me?
It was more women than men.
Okay, all right. And so he performed for an hour or so, you said?
He performed for about an hour.
All right, so
an hour.
on a scale of 1 to 10, what kind of rating are you going to give him?
About an 8.5.
Whoa, why not a 10? I need to hear why.
Because
Oh, dear.
Tony Danza is starting to look like Tony Bennett.
Oh. So that
I
breaks
know
your
I'm
heart.
getting older too, but
You just don't want to know that your crush is aging? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so. I wanted him to look like he looked last time I went to see him about 10 years ago. He's still my crush, though.
Absolutely.
Still my crush.
That's never going away. Well, I'm glad you had fun and happy birthday.
I did. Thank you.
And so I am glad you're back because it's time to go coasting and we've got to help our listeners find their people, place, and pace. And B, I'm going to give you a minute to find your sunglasses in your purse, but when we return, we'll be gabbing some more about what I call the Wildlife Welcoming Committee. And I'll talk to our special guest, wildlife photographer Travis Huffstetler. Everybody hop in the coasting convertible. We're about to go for a ride.
The Art Museum at 3100 South Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach is the Grand Strand's home for visual arts. The museum includes 11 galleries, an art education studio, a museum shop, art library, pottery studio, and a tranquil tea porch with ocean views. Go to myrtlebeachartmuseum.org for current exhibits and programs. Admissions is $8 for adults, $5 for seniors and veterans, and children 18 and under and EBT card holders can enjoy the museum for free. The museum is open from Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Call 843-238-2510 with any questions.
Because of our in-depth chat in episode 1, Aunt B, you now know the answer to what is the number one question I am asked when people call and ask about moving to the area. Do you remember?
I do.
Bring it on.
Alligators.
That is correct. But now it's time to give a quick shout out to other creatures that drive our dogs and sometimes humans crazy. All right, first up, we're going to talk about turtles. I know it doesn't sound scary at all, but it's important to know when that doggy is like all over that turtle, which Leo was so all about that. You know, how do you remove them? Where do you take them? I've always been told that you pick up the turtle, but make sure it's away from you, not close, and that you're actually supposed to put it in the direction it looked like it was going. Does that make sense? So if it came from the retention pond, it was clearly going away from it, so you're supposed to continue to take it away. And so you're not supposed to return it to the retention pond. So I'm going to need people to comment on that when, through social media. I'm going to need to hear, is that what you've heard is the tip in the world of turtles? Now, here we go, Aunt B. When do you know from this animal, when do you know it's springtime? I know you know this answer because you live by a retention pond.
The bullfrogs.
Yes, yes. Good
They
gracious.
are loud. And if you want to sit out on your back patio and it's dusk or nighttime, you're not going to have a quiet conversation.
It literally is a symphony, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, we're not kidding, people. It is loud.
It is loud. If you've ever sat near is it cicada?
Cicada is what I say it.
Cicada tree, they're worse.
Yeah, they're definitely right up there. Yeah. I would say, and it literally, you think spring, so you're thinking maybe April, May. Oh no, you're hearing these bullfrogs in like February. I mean, and then you go, oh, it's about that time. I guess everything else is going to start to bloom and blossom because the bullfrogs have announced it is officially spring.
Winter ends early here.
Yes, it does. And that is why everyone moves here. Absolutely. All right. So the next one I came up with that people don't have in maybe where they live currently, geckos, right? Of course, everybody, yes, think that thing that's on the Geico commercials, yes. And they actually do change color with their surroundings, which I think is really cool.
You can watch one turn from green to brown.
It is kind of neat.
Right in front of you.
Do they bother? They don't bother me. Do they bother me?
They don't bother me at all.
There's some
but I
people
do have friends who they don't like them.
Yeah, my sister definitely is one. She does not
but
like
you still don't want them in your house.
But you know what? Dogs think they're great fun. That'll wear a dog out chasing a gecko. Okay, so I'm going to admit something here. I let one accidentally in my house the day before I closed on it, the day before I sold it. And the new owners had 2 dogs. So, Sarah and John, I am so sorry because that was a nice little welcoming gift, housewarming gift for your dogs.
For Macy and Jake.
Right. So, Aunt B, what is your tip about picking up these precious reptiles?
So if you're trying to get a gecko out of your house, don't pick it up by the tail.
What?
Because the tail will come off.
What?
If you squeeze the tail too tight, it'll come right off and the rest of the gecko will just run away.
Oh my gosh, that would freak me out. And is the part of the tail that you took off, is it moving or is it like a shell? What is it?
Still in your hand. It's creepy.
Is,
You've dropped it by then. You don't know.
Exactly. All right, so that's good to know. So now I have to be even more courageous because I thought I was being good about getting it by the tail, but now I have to
It doesn't always work.
Okay. All right. So there's another one that is a little bit different. Have any of you, and you can comment on this, have any of you heard of it's called a skink? Has anybody heard of those? Okay, yeah. All right, you don't want to know about those. Okay, those are the ones that actually freak me out. Hopefully we can get a good image to include in the episode here. They're bigger than geckos. They're more, can I say substantial, more meaty? Oh, that's not a word I want to use, but it's like that. They seem more lizard to me. I mean, you can see their front legs. They look like they're straight descendant of a dinosaur. They're just, has one gotten in my house before? Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Did it come out? Well, not alive, it didn't. But since I would actually like to sleep tonight, I am not going to describe the details of that adventure, okay? Now, here's another one, okay? Has anybody heard of no-see-ums? That is, I can tell you, growing up in Maryland, never heard of a no-see-em. Did you ever heard of a no-see-em?
Had never. No.
Okay, literally, so the word, the 3 words, no, see, like them, but we're putting it all together, no-see-ems. This is one of those special names we've devised here in South Carolina to describe what is basically a biting gnat. I looked it up, and they are actually called the biting midge, just in case anyone at a cocktail party would like to know the real name of a no-see-em. Usually you've had a lovely experience of being outside in the morning or dusk, and you come back inside only to start itching like crazy about 30 minutes later. You didn't hear the zzz noise of a mosquito, and you didn't smack your arm because you could feel you were being bit. But these creatures are typically, are you ready, a 1/16 of an inch long. There's no way you would have seen it. Hence, no-see-ems. You know what else I learned, Aunt B?
What?
The ones that bite are females.
That figures.
And these are not to be confused with sand fleas, okay, which will in fact drive you insane while you're trying to enjoy the sun and surf occasionally. This is not an everyday occurrence. Depending upon which way the wind is blowing, it can create a pool day real quick to get off that beach. All right, okay, last but not least, we're going to go from 1/16 of an inch to, well,
Larger.
much, much larger. Bears. We actually have bears, and they are a lovely member of the Wildlife Welcoming Committee in our community. So when we talk about different sections of Myrtle Beach, Carolina Forest, a section that is heavily wooded, International Drive. This is a part of Myrtle Beach. And then in Conway off of Highway 22 area, believe it or not, and I mention all those because they're wooded areas and they're commonly, the brown bears are seen there. But did you hear the story? There was just a bear sighting in North Myrtle Beach at the beach.
I heard that.
So any of you who are familiar with the area, this little cub, it was, only 130 pounds. just a little baby, was walking around 9th Avenue South by the Baywatch Resort in North Myrtle Beach, if you are familiar with that area. Thank goodness, thanks to the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, the cub was guided towards the woods and everyone is okay. But bears.
I've seen 2.
You have?
I saw one on International Drive, just hanging out all by himself during the day. And then I saw one leaping across Highway 90. I thought it was a huge bushy dog until we got closer, and then I realized it was a bear.
So, okay, when you say leaping, I think deer, because bears are too big to leap, aren't they?
I don't know. He was, I mean,
how's that again?
he's not as graceful as a deer. The deer have their nice, long, thin legs, and he's got these big, furry legs. But if you think of a big Labrador or a big one of
almost
these,
like galloping.
galloping across the highway,
trying to find mom.
That was him.
Oh my goodness. So you definitely need to be careful when you are traveling in wooded areas, but they're not like the things you see in social media where they're going to show up at your front porch and all that kind of stuff. That is not the situation here, thankfully. But all right, now that we have sufficiently scared the bejeepers out of you, and if you already live here, you will now be sleeping with one eye open. We're going to welcome my favorite local wildlife photographer, Travis Huffstetler, and ask him to share the absolute beauty he's seen here along the Carolina coast. Let's pull this coasting convertible in for a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Looking for that unique holiday gift and running out of time to get it? Get the gift that makes everyone ask, where did you get that? Visit the Art Museum shop at 3100 South Ocean Boulevard to find boutique soaps, handmade pottery, jewelry, beautiful books, stationery, and much, much more.
It's time to turn from nope to nature. One of the reasons people move here is to enjoy the outdoors pretty much every day of the year. Not only can you enjoy a good walk through your neighborhood, but the trails, parks, and yes, even golf courses offer so much natural beauty that wasn't present in your previous hometown. So as much as a scary bug can take your breath away, just wait until you see some of the beauty and wildlife wonder. Watching a bald eagle fly overhead in its natural habitat can indeed confirm you found your place. I had to find a way and a person to describe just what amazing and beautiful wildlife you can experience here, and I'm so thrilled to welcome local photographer and fan favorite Travis Huffstetler to the Coasting Podcast. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Travis, many people found you, like myself, because you used to go on Facebook Live every morning for sunrise. Why did you decide to do that?
So I moved down here in 2020 chasing a dream to be a world-known photographer, and started with $120, 2 bags of clothes, a cell phone, and a drone. And my car broke down halfway here.
Oh my gosh.
So that was my morning motivation. The very next morning when I woke up in that hotel was to do the sunrise, because I had to do something to get me motivated to try to go find a job that day or make some money to pay the
So it
room
just
for the night.
symbolized promise and opportunity, the sun, and it started a new day.
Yeah. And I used to be a night owl, so once I started doing like sunrise stuff and got more into photography, I started getting excited about getting up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So when I moved here, it was chasing a dream, and it was just to prove that you didn't have to have the best to get started, and if you get going,
And
things work out. So.
And there were so many people who loved those. I know I think you just did one, recently. And I know it's not ever because you have so many other things you're doing now, but it just really got a following of people who just went, thank you, just really helped them start their day as well. But then I think you became even more well known for your interviews on national TV after you were one of the photographers that captured the photo of the Air Force F-22 shooting down the Chinese spy balloon just off the coast of Surfside Beach. And that was back in 2023. And well, that was indeed definitely a different kind of bird to photograph, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Tell me, were you in a group of other photographers, or where were you at the time you got that?
No, so I'd actually went down to the Adelaide. Oh, man. I don't want to get the name of the place wrong, but it's one of the places down in Garden City. And one of the guys that I'd helped do some flooring stuff for, to make a little income, we had done a place over there, but I got a phone call that day. I was shooting photos for the Polar Plunge that day down in Litchfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the sheriff's department down there. And on the way back, I hadn't paid much attention to the whole spy balloon thing. And, I was like, I ain't worried about it. And then all of my fans and followers on Facebook was like, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And so I happened to look up, and sure enough, there it was. And I was driving back from Litchfield to Surfside. And I was like, how can I get this? So I drove over to that building because I knew I could get up on the top floor and be able to see off the railing.
And unobstructed.
And be able to see out there a little better instead of being right there on the beach and looking straight up at it. You'd have more of an angle to get a higher view. So, and as I'm on the way there, my buddy from Charlotte calls me and says, hey, the guy from Channel 9 who knows one of the ladies at CNN, want to know if I know somebody's got a camera on it. And so I was like, I'm about to be there. But as I'm driving down there, you start seeing all these people just standing out in the middle of the road, and they're looking around and they're looking up, So it kind of reminded you, like, I guess Sputnik back in the day, right? Or from that movie, one of my favorite movies, October Sky, where they're all looking, watching it go over. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. So was on CNN, BBC, and a lot of other networks,
Very
Associated Press, radio shows.
It's pretty wild that happened right off. And that was Surfside Beach, wasn't it? That happened?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, it was more like right over Myrtle Beach, like over to State Park here, but from there you could get a better angle.
It was just so interesting seeing those fighter jets just kind of circling, just waiting until they got the go ahead to shoot it down. It was pretty wild. But now we're gonna turn to birds of nature, and I just want to start off with, do you have a favorite bird that you like to photograph?
The bald eagle.
I figured. Tell me why.
It's always been a symbol of freedom, As a child, I guess growing up, I've loved the eagles. My uncle had a old barn out there, and he used to put together these big old throw pillows and stuff. And so, he was rough around the edges. So he had all these Harley like bandanas, and so the Harley bandanas had all these bald eagles on them. And so seeing them hanging up like in his barn and stuff, I always thought it was so cool. So eventually, like, he made me a couple big throw pillows that had the eagles on it with the Harleys. I like motorcycles and I like birds, but
So I want to
Um,
hear about, if you can, almost a day in the life. If you know you want to go and photograph and try and photograph an eagle, tell me, are you getting up early? Where are you going? Just, I want to hear about how you would capture those shots in a day.
yeah, for wildlife in general, it's usually better to get up early.
Okay.
So I do the sunrise in the morning and I go straight to Huntington Beach State Park a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times. You can go down to Pawleys Island on either end, or I mean, even in the middle, but you're more likely to see the eagles. Um, Leading into the colder months, into the wintertime, you see them a lot more at Huntington. I'm not sure if they hunt somewhere else, like in the summertime, like more over the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
but they come through Huntington a lot more. I mean, you can see them in Garden City, flying over near like Sarah J's and over by the pier, but they're far and fewer between.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Now, how did you find out? Was it from, another photographer? How did you know that Huntington was a good place to go and capture some of your best photography?
it was just one of the places that I found whenever I first moved here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the local churches had donated a bicycle to me, and I literally rode it from the hotel right down the street here
Mm-hmm.
all the way to Huntington.
Wow.
Because I was trying to pick up jobs, photography jobs with a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into it and I found it through there and I seen all the birds. And so I started going out there every day as much as possible once I was able to get down there a little better. And they have an eagle's nest in there.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's across the water from it, but there's an eagle's nest. It's hard to see with the naked eye. So a good pair of binoculars or a
And
good
so I was going
camera.
to say, and now that you know that's there, that's pretty much kind of your go-to if to start off to get.
Yeah, and because there's going to be more stuff around, like I can't guarantee you're gonna see them out there. You got a high probability, but you need to stay around a little while
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because just like with everything, you got to spend some time out there in it to be able to see the stuff. Some people ask me about some of my photos with them catching fish. They're like, "How long did it take you to catch that photo or take that photo?" And I think they're expecting like 30 minutes, an hour, a couple hours, something like that. I'm like 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "What?" Like, yeah, 3 years of about 4 hours a day, 4 to 5 hours a day for the last 3 years.
Now, is there, okay, so I'm going to assume then that there's kind of maybe this list of, you know, photos that you, or maybe, certain wildlife that you want to take. So if to get that perfect shot of catching the fish was like, check, I got it. Tell me some of the other ones that are still on the list.
Phew, I don't know, man. The eagle's the eagles, the barred owls, the great horned owls. Once I started getting into birding and I started realizing there was way more birds than what I realized, even though I grew up hunting and fishing, when you get into birding, you start realizing there's a lot more birds that you didn't know hung around. So even from the little tiny ones, to like the golden crowned kinglets, it takes time with all of it too. So it's being patient, but then learning how to get the lighting, sitting around and waiting for the right shot, or it doing an action shot, or it in flight. So it's kind of hard to say. I got a whole list of stuff that I really want to get, but I made a big trip out west earlier this year. Drove to the Tetons and Yellowstone and the Cascades, and so I got to see moose and wolves and everything else like that. But the eagle's still my go-to. So I go to Huntington every day in hopes to catch the next best shot of
What
the
are some of
eagle.
the other birds that you have that you've seen at Huntington or
Oh
elsewhere that
shoot!
are in our
You got
area that maybe others haven't seen where they live?
so you got ospreys. You have tricolored herons. So ospreys you can find, in the north, but tricolored herons, little blue herons. So little blue herons are what they're called. They're little blue, but whenever they're first born, they're white. So they look like snowy egrets.
Mm-hmm.
But you got great egrets, snowy egrets, great blue herons. You got little blue herons. You got marsh wrens, American white ibises, glossy ibises. I mean, anywhere from mallards to blue-winged teals to green-winged teals to wood ducks. You won't see the wood ducks at Huntington, but
How did you find out, like, Okay, the only example I can give, Travis, and don't laugh at me, is like, when some people are going around like a garden or something, they'll take a picture of a shrub, a flower, whatever, and there's an app that tells them what that actual plant or flower is. How in the world did you learn the names and what all of these different birds were instead of going, it's the blue one? I mean, how did you learn?
So there's an app. It's called eBird.
eBird.
Not sponsored either, by the way. But yeah, so it's eBird, and you can actually download it on your phone. It's a free app. I'm sure they take donations too, but you can download it and you can actually press record on it and listen to the sounds.
Oh.
And so it'll start telling you what the birds are. It'll start showing you what they, it'll start showing you like little pictures of them and stuff like that. But you can learn by the sounds, but then also you can take a picture of them. If you can get somewhat of a clearer picture, you can share the picture on there and it can try to help identify it for you. Or you can do it by like the color patterns or the size, or you can do it custom to where it's like, what's the size of it between like a really small bird and like, like an eagle, and stuff like that. But I think that's an app everybody should download because it'll help take your attention away from some of the noise,
Sure.
some of the digital noise.
Right. Now, okay, so don't laugh. I don't have the app, but when I go to Huntington, there are birds that have pink. What are those?
Oh, so those are the rosette spoonbills. Roseate, rosette. There's a spoonbill. So a lot of people think they're flamingos, but they're not.
I knew it wasn't a flamingo. I knew we weren't that far south, but they're beautiful. And I mean, the one time I was there, it was this, literally the entire tree was full of them and it was gorgeous. And I mean, again, is that common or is that just today we have a tree full of, I mean, do you know, is there any kind of pattern?
Yeah, so they migrate up here for the summer.
Okay.
And so they're still here right now, here in November, but they should be heading back here at the end of the month, more into Christmas or more into December. But they usually come around late May, mid-June kind of area, and they'll stay around. And the pinker they are, the more healthier they are. So that means that they're eating more shrimp because they eat like shrimp and other crustaceans and stuff. So
very cool. Now, one of the things we've been talking, and we have a little alligator obsession on the podcast right now. And so I have seen your Facebook posts where you are showing just how close you are to alligators when you shoot them. And Travis, I am scared for you. So I don't know if the audience can see this particular photograph that he has taken. Yeah. And so, Travis, I'm worried about you.
No, it's fine.
So tell me, one, how close are you actually? Because clearly you brought an awesome camera here with a lens that looks like it can allow you to keep your distance. But how close are you?
Sometimes closer than a lot of people may want me to be.
Now, why do you do that?
Well, so sometimes you don't have the option. Sometimes they kind of just walk up on you. So.
Now, there's this.
Okay,
I'll call it a
newsflash.
Okay, bring it on, Travis. Go ahead.
All right, so alligators do live in ponds. They do travel. So if you do see them, I know you were talking about the alligators earlier. They will travel from pond to pond, but they're usually just in between the next pond.
They're in transition.
They're in transition to where they're really headed.
Okay. All right. Good. But the ones in Huntington, I mean, people feel like if they want to see an alligator, in the natural, everyone tells them to go to Huntington.
Yeah,
right?
If you want to see the alligators in the wild, go to Huntington. So there's a road down there across from the Atalaya Castle. It's called the Straight Road, AKA Alligator Alley.
Oh.
So, and then the causeway too, like whenever you drive into Huntington, you have to cross over the causeway. So to the left side would be the salt marsh and to the right side would be the brackish pond.
All right.
And then there's another pond that's across the Alligator Alley that's a freshwater pond. And so the alligators will go from the freshwater to the brackish water to the salt water. And so they go into the salt marsh a lot. They'll go eat blue crabs, jellyfish, baby sharks, stuff like that. They'll eat like the bull shark babies. But they'll cross over the pathway a lot. So when you go to Huntington, just be alert and be aware. But they cross the path at Huntington all day long. I've
And I
had
know there
5
are
at a
people
time.
that go specifically to see them on that, and it's so funny because there actually are, almost looks like if you've been there, a dang crosswalk. I mean, they have, because
Yeah.
it's the road, and then you have I'll call it wooden for lack of a better, for a barrier, maybe it's
Yep.
metal, I don't know. And then you have breaks, and swear I've seen photos where literally the gator is taking the crosswalk to get to the other
Yeah,
side.
they will. They'll take the crosswalk because sometimes when they're walking under those barriers, it's just easier for them to go across the crosswalk. So
So,
it's a little more flat. So those barriers, they have to kind of go up and over. But yeah, you can get pretty close to them. The closest I've been is probably within 5 foot, 6 foot of one. That was crossing at Huntington, not knowing that it was behind me because we were looking at other ones to the other side. And so it decided to cross behind me. And the lady just put her hand on my shoulder and she said, "Just don't move."
and you went, okay.
So I turned around and I took the picture of it. But it they can get close, but the alligators don't want to bother you. They want to get to where they're going. We're not on their menu. I've looked it up because I post a lot of photos with alligators in it. And sometimes you'll see the people in it because the zoom lens, it makes it look compressed. So it looks like the people are standing right on top of it. And they're not that close. But everybody's like, alligators can run faster than humans, this and that. And I'm like, hold on. So there's only been like 400 people in total that's been attacked by an alligator. Out of that, it's been like 25 deaths that's been recorded since 1943.
I'm
And
gonna
so,
believe you. I don't,
yeah, so
but
just
I'm
be
still not
more
sleeping
careful on the
tonight.
stairs than you are with alligators. I would say.
So, have you had any other close calls with any other animals or anything that you remember?
No,
That's
not
good.
close calls.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, one of the things that also got you some, recognition or people just following you more is that you got a really cool shot of a fox on the beach. Do you have that to show everybody?
Yeah, I don't have a big print of it, but I do have the puzzle of it that I'd made.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
So,
And I don't know
actually,
if is this the one that has okay, yeah, it's got the American flag. I don't know if anybody
here.
can zoom in and see that.
I
Here,
forgot.
let's go ahead.
I
Yeah.
actually got the print inside
Okay,
of
cool.
here.
Let's check it out.
So yeah, one morning I was going out on the beach. I just got that lens actually, but I went out there to go photograph the sunrise like always. And whenever I did, I noticed that there was there looks like a red dog on the beach right down here, and it was at the Garden City Pier. And I seen a couple of guys standing down there, and so I didn't realize, so I'm thinking like, okay, like a dog maybe. And I got to looking a little closer, and I zoomed in on it, and it was a red fox. And those two guys that were standing on the other side of it had no idea it was even there. And so I started taking pictures of it. I just crouched down, got on a knee, and just started taking pictures of it. And it started kind of coming at an angle towards me, but it started going to the ocean. And I'd been out on this beach every morning for I don't know how long. And I know that I'd seen foxes in Polly's before, but I'd never seen one here in Garden City. And whenever I did, I just kept taking pictures of it and ran right down there to the ocean right by the water. And it started trying to pick something up off the ground. And the whole time I'm photographing it. And I'm like, what is that? And I got to look and I'm like, it's an American flag. And so I whistled at it. And whenever I did, it just sat right down and looked directly at me.
And you
I
went,
got to
thank you very much.
Yeah, so some people think it's
Cha-ching,
Photoshop.
money
but-
shot.
Yeah. It's definitely not Photoshop. I don't use Photoshop. I don't do any of that. But
No, I mean that's a fantastic. I just remember that just went everywhere when you took that shot.
and what's crazy about that is like all those years of going out on the beach every morning, that was the first time I'd seen the fox down here on this this strand of the beach. And the next 3 days I saw two more, or the next 2 days after that I saw two more foxes on the beach for sunrise. And they were both different.
Well,
All
the
three
word
of them were
had gotten
different.
out. They're getting their picture taken. So,
But yeah, it was pretty cool. So,
so if there's somebody who's just come to our area and they like being outside and they're learning and seeing all this beautiful and majestic wildlife, what do you recommend as your first starting out if you want to pick up photography as a hobby?
Buy my course.
Whoa, okay. There's a course. I didn't know
Uh-huh.
that.
So,
All right.
so
all
because
right.
I started here with just a cell phone and a drone, so I'm actually in the process of making a shoot like a pro with just your phone course.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, so it comes out Black Friday.
All right. So in that case, is it online or are they going to be with you? How
That'll
you
be
going
on.
to do this?
This one's going to be online, so it'll be an online course so that you can learn how to take better photos. And it's really just getting people to understand the basics of it. A lot of people get into photography and they start trying to learn too much, and it becomes overwhelming because they're trying to learn everything. They're trying to be perfect. And it's like, just learn with what you got. You don't have to have the best to get started. Learn with what you got. Start using it more and more, and realize that people do edit their photos
Right.
because that's part of the art. That's part of the, that's part of the artistic vision of
Well,
it.
and
Right?
your
So,
phone these days has so many different gadgets in terms of, taking the night photo, the portrait,
Yeah.
etc., that you really can spend quite a bit of time just learning how to use that phone to get
Yeah.
to get a great shot before you go into something as complicated as this. Tell us about
right.
this.
It's a lot more involved into it. So this is a Canon. But whenever you upgrade to the bigger cameras, there's more that comes into it. You have to edit the photo then, you're more hands-on with it. Hard drive, storage space, downloading it to the computers. There's a lot more that comes with this. So this is a lot more dedication than just learning how to take great photos with your phone, because the phone that you have, especially these days, they have great cameras on them. It's just learning how to use it right. But if you're going to get into wildlife or like taking those shots of like the full moon rising over the houses that you see some of the more pro photographers sharing, you're going to need to upgrade to the bigger stuff to get the more detail, the clarity and stuff like that. But if you're using it and it's just going to be for personal, don't waste the money until you get good with what you already have. Because a lot of people buy this and then they get confused because there's a bunch of buttons, there's a lot of menus, there's a lot of
And
this
then
and
before
that.
you know it, that was money down the drain because
Yeah,
they got
and then
frustrated.
and they could have went to Maggie D's instead.
I love it. I love it. We are all going to Maggie D. There will be a lot of
That
photography
sandwich
at Maggie
sounded
D's. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. So, not only do you do, the photos of the wildlife, but there's so much beautiful scenery in our area. And I wanted you to bring up that, again, you've turned many of your photos into puzzles, and you have brought one with you. If we can go ahead and get that puzzle and show everybody. You went ahead and put it together and framed it. The iconic sky wheel of Myrtle Beach. I mean, I just think, I don't know about you guys for doing puzzles, but the seagrass, how long would it take to figure out those puzzles, right? That would be crazy. But that's a beautiful shot.
Well, the beauty is that it comes with a full size image, a poster.
So you can really
You
study
can
it.
actually like literally place the piece on top of it, and be able to put it together that way. But it's a puzzle. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. I'm not gonna lie. The Fox puzzle is very, very hard. I might have lost on that one, but that's okay. It's a learning experience, and I've been trying to figure it out since getting here. And trying to make a living selling your photography as art. I see why, there's a lot of people, it's Starving Artist Club, right?
Right,
So
right.
I'm just trying to disprove that, and eventually we will.
Well, and you also, as the audience received a copy of your 2026 calendar, and the question I have for that is, as you're doing calendars, what makes the cut? How do you decide of the thousands of photos you've taken over a course of a year? How do you do it? How do you decide?
Sometimes it's just blindfolded. I mean, really, like sometimes I have no idea. Like I try to find ones that fit with the months because I have so many that I take that a lot of people like. And, I want to I've always tried to include each area into it. I think I might start doing it more specific for just, the calendars. Maybe I'll have one for Surfside, one for Garden City.
Polly's, Myrtle's,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Or maybe
We gotta
like a
talk about
Myrtle's
it.
and Garden City
How about
together.
North Myrtle, Cherry Grove, some good stuff up there too.
We can do that, but I live in Polly's now, so it's a little haul to get
Oh,
up
I
to
see.
Cherry Grove.
Okay.
I do that more in the summer because I will do some family photos.
Now,
Not as much.
one of the things that I did notice in the past is that you have put your photos on Facebook from a day from an outing at Huntington, And I know I have certainly gone on there and been like, calendar shot, because some
Yeah.
of them are just so good, or that's a puzzle right there. So I think your fans also, help you in some ways determine which ones should be part of the calendar.
They do, but there's so many, all year long. And it depends on, how I share the photo or the crop on it. Not all of them can be like in the calendar unless I'm going to do like multiple images or have like a different, it's more like the landscape for the calendar, where I have a lot of great portrait shots or like, your vertical shots, but they're not as good. They don't make the calendar because of just the sizing.
Now, if somebody, I keep talking about Facebook because, of course, that's where I have seen most of your stuff. But where else, if people want to get the calendar or puzzles, or just see some more of the images you've taken, where would they go?
So I'm on Instagram and Facebook, but then my website, TravisHuffstetlerphotography.com.
All right, awesome.
That's a lot, but
Well, from the final question I would ask you is, again, we're talking to people who are considering, they've either just moved here or they're considering making the move to our area. So from that standpoint, just in general of what they will, see, experience regarding wildlife in our area, what would you say based on your experience?
oh, there's an abundance of wildlife, birds. There's foxes all over. People don't see them as often, but they are. The black bears. I know y'all said brown bears earlier.
Thank
but
you for correcting. Yes, I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I did
So we
say
have
brown,
black
didn't I?
bears.
Appreciate
Yeah.
them. See, I'm learning too today.
But the alligators, it's just have a healthy respect for them and get out and see them.
Yes.
That's one thing I do notice when people move here is like they kind of forget where they moved. And I want you to just remember where you moved and go out and enjoy it. Go out and enjoy it. Don't just go to the bar and hang out and find a few friends there. Go out and, enjoy the area. Go to Brook Green Gardens. Go to Huntington Beach State Park. Go down to Polly's and visit. Go all up the area. I mean, Cherry Grove. There's another place up right past Cherry Grove. I can't think of the name of it, but it's another like preserve, like nature.
Vereen Gardens.
Vereen Gardens. There you go. That's a very beautiful
is
place.
nice.
It's very nice walking trails, great wildlife. But
And now I'm hearing Conway is going to start changing and making Lake Busby area something really awesome in the next few years.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, and I know
There's an eagle's nest out there.
Yeah, I know. So, Travis, thank you so much for coming today. Listeners, when I tell you the beauty, awe, and grace you'll see with the animals that find their natural habitat along the Carolina coast, it will far outweigh the occasional not-so-fun visitor. The Myrtle Beach area is a nature lover's dream, and I hope you'll be coasting through one of our state parks very soon. Another episode of Coasting is now complete, but this journey to find your people, place, and pace has just begun. If you're listening or watching during the holidays, safe travels to you. Remember to share some love, hugs and smooches, kind words, and we'd be thrilled if you recommended your family and friends to try out the Coasting podcast during your vacation. It can be enjoyed wherever you find your favorite podcast. Finally, if any of you make a New Year's wish to move to Myrtle, I hope you'll consider calling me to help you find that perfect castle in the sand. Thanks again for listening, and as always, keep it coasting.
Diabolical, actually. He designed some very difficult courses that will make you want to jump in the lake with the alligators. They're hard. You're going to be frustrated regardless.
The alligator ate my ball. For 25 years, I planned on coming down here. If I could only teach my dog to go find my ball, I'd be great.
The executive producer of Coasting Podcast is Celia Klein. Producer, Michael Lehman from Frameway Visuals. The opinions expressed herein are solely those of Celia, Aunt B, and any special guest. The good news, agree, disagree. You have that liberty. See what I did there? Special thanks to Little Baby Jesus, Andy Williams, Frank and Mary Ann, and all members of the Fam Jam. Celia is a licensed realtor in both South and North Carolina. For assistance in either buying, selling real estate, please call 843-321-9646. The Coasting Podcast can be found wherever you currently enjoy your other favorite podcasts. We thank you for listening.